directing and filmmaking has led you to not only do creative and really cool projects, but it's gotten you to a point where you've traveled a lot around the world and seen amazing places. I know Africa, Costa Rica, London, Brazil,
Japan twice. I'll be back in October now.
Another time. So talk about those experiences. What first of all, what kind of projects were these? What did you learn besides the culture, being in different places, stuff like that?
I think so. Context to that, I went from music videos to quickly kind of doing weddings.
Right.
And then from weddings, I went to like party recaps and stuff like that. And then at some point there, a guy by the name of Eric Santana approached me. He's called the Palm Pirate.
The Palm, yeah.
And he's
I've seen his stuff.
And he's like, dude, you're so dope. I love everything you do. Have you ever shot YouTube content? And at the time, I hadn't really shot like a YouTuber. And he wasn't a YouTuber, but he was trying to be.
Right.
And he's like, yo, I'll pay you.
We're trying to be also.
Right. So he was like, I'll pay you. And I started shooting Eric. And that was another tipping point for me, right? It went from weddings, started teaching me the story aspect of it, but then with Eric, it became cool, right? In the sense of weddings to me, come on, I'm not going to show a wedding to my friends. We're not going to sit around drinking beer and be like, hey guys, watch this wedding that I just did. Yeah. But I might be like, yo, look at this guy who makes these killer waterfalls in these amazing backyards, right? Yeah, thank you. I did all that. Actually, no. I did the first couple years until we hired Paulo to take the role. Shout outs to Paulo, Films and Stories.
Yeah.
I think we're all born with this childlike creativity, and I think it expresses in different
ways.
Yeah. And your creativity just might not be like mine. It might be just different.
Or his.
Right. And what excites you is just maybe not what excites me. And that's okay. That's great. But I think we're all born.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, I do.
Exactly. I appreciate seeing people that work like that.
Yeah. When I saw that aspect of him, I was like, yo, this guy's a rock star, bro.
Yeah.
And he knows what he wants. And let me tell you, again, Escuelita, right? Because when you're on the move with a guy who's, a monster. I don't know how else to describe him. My brother, Eric Santana's a monster. He's a pond building monster, and he moves quick. And you got to move quick with him. And you learn how to adapt and what they call run and gun. In the video world, they call it run and gun. Which is sometimes when you're shooting on the run, right? You don't really got time to set up your lights.
Everything's on the fly.
Yeah, everything's on the fly. That to me,
improvising, in other words.
That to me is the greatest. That's like ground zero of the war.
That's like when you know you're good.
I think so. And if I could pull that off, imagínate when you give me time and budget and let me put lights up, imagine what I make then.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it.
So no, and maybe as a client, I'd probably be a little frustrated because like, yo, this guy's packing up and leaving. I'm trying to get my stuff, my pond, my lake done in a certain time. But you know what? At the end of the day, you see a guy that's creative like that and does that, and you say, yo, the final product was worth the 100% the wait, right?
And then to take it further, he's like, okay, now I'm selling koi fish, and I don't like. I see the koi fish with imperfections here in the United States. I want to go back to the Mecca. You know what, Soflaa? We're going to Japan.
Yeah,
I'm leaving in October. Give me your full name and your passport info. We're leaving, and that's what we did. We went to Japan to go meet like the top 5% of the Japanese koi breeders in the Yamakushi Mountains.
Right.
So I didn't know
that must have been a crazy experience.
It's amazing. That's what I love about being a filmmaker is the discovery and the exploration part of it. Yeah. I had, that I thought I knew about koi fish when I've been shooting Eric for 2 years. Yeah. I thought I knew about koi fish until I went to Japan.
Yeah.
Then I realized that,
it's a whole different mindset.
They've been genetically painting these fish for 200 years.
It's an art.
It's an art. Yeah. I went to houses that their great grandparents, were breeding koi.
And these must have been big ones too.
Big ones, very colorful. What I loved about the koi over there was that the color patterns were very pronounced.
Right.
I don't know if it's the water or what, but here different than over there.
Yeah.
Because over there it's like mountain water. We're in this mountain range, and all that water that's coming down, becomes their water that they live in. But man, the color patterns are just so perfect.
Yeah.
When those colors meet, it's like, wow, beautiful.
What about like, so when you went up there to Japan, it was all about the koi fish. This was a whole documentary done on koi fish. And
so I went to shoot content for him, right? So maybe make him 5-6 videos of him picking koi, right? And then while he's there picking koi, he's calling clients, FaceTiming them back in the States and saying, hey, look, I'm in Japan and look at this fish. Remember you mentioned to me you wanted something. Oh, yeah, I want it. Boom, he sells it.
These are high-level clients, people that can afford.
Yeah, I'm not going to say.
How much does one of those things go for? Like a couple thousand, right?
So I saw the world's most expensive fish in 2019. in October 2019 when we went over. We went to the All Japan Koi show. So they had the like, I don't know, Big Bertha. I don't know what her name was, but she was there, and she was 2.3 mil. And then she died the next year or something like that. Pobrecita.
Oh, that sucks.
But yeah, you're talking about a big, perfect jumbo, koi that's like, 3.5 feet long, that's been eating, the best food. They can feed it, living in the most pristine waters. It's crazy, man. These people spend a lot of money for a fish you can't even fry and eat.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
You know what I mean?
It's just gonna live there in your lake and your pond.
Yeah.
So what about the work in Brazil and in Africa? And those are beautiful places with amazing scenery.
Yeah. Those are awesome. I don't think they're for everybody. I think they're for the seasoned traveler. I definitely don't recommend anybody.
Someone that wants to experience that, right?
Yeah, I would think you'd have to at least go to a few places first before you go there.
Okay.
Right? Like maybe don't bring your wife that's never left Kendall or something like that. Maybe Nigeria is not a good place for her to go.
Okay.
There's nothing to see.
So specifically it was Nigeria.
I would say Nigeria, and I would say Sao Paulo where I was at too. I wouldn't.
Okay.
I don't know. Some of those places are kind of dangerous.
Were you worried? Like, why you out there? Or?
I definitely had my moments. There was a moment that I had in Africa where we got pulled over on a really dark road.
Yeah.
Right? There's one road in and out between the cities, right? There's not like alternative routes. You have to go that one way. And it was really dark. And we were leaving a party in Ogun, and we were going back to the city where I was staying at, and we got pulled over by military police. It was super dark, and all I could see is these, really dark, because those Africans are dark,
Yeah.
right? And I see these really dark skinned guys, and they got the AKs, bro. They got the choppers, everything, and mind you, Africa is probably one of the most crookedest countries I've ever been to. Everybody wants your money. Any problem you have, sácale un billete 5, 10. And problema resuelto. You good. That's
I saw DMX on a podcast tell a story when he did a concert in Africa, and they had to like book it, like literally like escape the whole situation.
It cost me $60 to leave the airport.
He talked about something like that.
From walking off the plane, going through the terminals, getting my luggage, going through customs, and going outside to where the car was. It cost me $60.
DMX mentioned something like that, and even like someone of that stature was talking about you have to have money on you constantly to pay people just to get through certain things because it's super crazy.
So that night we got pulled over. The driver that I was with, we call him the senator because this guy like shakes hands and kisses babies all day, right? He gets us through everything. We put a little money in his pocket. And,
he's the guy that gets you around.
He's the guy that gets us around and pays everybody for us, right? So the cop comes up. Cop's eyes are super red. They were drinking some palm wine or something.
Yeah.
The cops were. You
Okay.
can see it, right? Like they look drunk.
Yeah.
And he kind of walks over to the side, tells the guy, "Hey, who do we have in the car here?" Like, the senator tries to give him some money. He goes, No, I don't want your money. I want to do my job today. Today, I want to do my job. And he was like, "Oh, but I'm here with, I have guys from America here. We're trying to get." He goes, "Oh, yeah?" Put the car in park, take the keys out. And he walks around, comes right to me. He looks at the trunk behind me and then walks to my side. I was on the back passenger. And he says, "You, get out the car." So,
you specifically?
Yeah, me. So I was like, all right. So I get out the car. He goes, come back here. He takes me to the trunk, pop open the trunk. I pop open the trunk. I have my camera bag. And he goes, "Whose bag is that?" I go, that's my bag, sir. He goes, "Oh, yeah, let me see." I said, "Oh, no, I don't have nothing. Just, my little camera." He goes, "Open it up. Let me see." Mind you, when he's talking to me, the guy, I didn't notice there was another one there next to him. I mean, they're super dark. They're wearing like dark clothing. We're in the freaking jungle. Like I couldn't really see anybody.
Yeah.
But I felt the guy's AK rubbing my shin.
The guy that's next to you.
Yeah.
Or the guy behind
you. Yeah, the guy behind me kind of like pulls up and I'm like, "Oh shit." There's
like a warning.
One. Yeah, like don't try anything.
Yeah, don't do nothing
That's
stupid.
how I interpreted that.
Yeah.
But then I felt his gun touch my leg. And at that moment, I felt like this big.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Because I realized, holy shit, man, I'm in a place where, God forbid,
anything can happen.
Anything can happen. And there's really nowhere for me to go.
Were your kids born at this time?
Yeah, this was 2019. Yeah,
so
December.
that has to be going through your mind too.
Yeah.
Like, yo, I gotta get back home to my family.
So he makes me open the bag. He looks at my camera and he goes, "Oh, so you professional?" I said, "No, sir. I'm an amateur. I'm an amateur and I'm just here with my friends for a party." He goes, Yeah, that's normal. Amateur photographers usually come to Nigeria for parties. Yeah, real normal." And to that effect, he kind of tells me, and I'm like, Then he grabs my drone. Now he starts grabbing my mic. He goes, "Oh, yeah, this looks amateur. And, this looks amateur, And And I'm like, hey man, I don't know. I'm very into my hobby and I have the stuff. It means nothing, man. If you want, I erase footage. I don't know, like at this point I'm in like
you're working with them.
Yeah, I'm in flight mode because I don't want no problems type shit. And he goes, so you have all these good stuff from America. Did you bring me anything? And I yes. Yes.
Here you go.
Yes.
Take it.
Yeah, and I think I gave him like $40, like the first, like here. And he was like, oh, thank you very much. Okay, close your bag, get out of here. And nothing happened.
Right.
At the end of the day, nothing happened. But
it's a good story.
That moment right there made me just feel like,
course.
holy shit, I'm in a really bad spot. And I think that my submissiveness, it helped. And I'm an alpha male all day.
Yeah.
But I'm alpha enough to know when to...
When you're in your territory.
You got to beta down a little bit.
You don't go to nobody's hood and disrespect them when you don't know, when you're not...
And that's why I say Africa's not for everybody, right? There's no creature comforts, right? The toilets didn't flush. There was no showers. You had to take a shower with hot water the food, man. I went through days without eating a proper meal. Okay. Yeah, it's crazy.
But it was an experience.
An amazing experience.
Exactly.
And the reason why I went over there is because I came up with this idea to create a docuseries about Santeria and voodoo and Ifa and where it comes from.
Right.
I myself...
it originated there?
It originated in Yoruba land in Nigeria.
I don't know why in my mind it went straight to Haiti. But.
So people think Santeria, voodoo Haiti, Santeria Cuba,
exactly,
Candomblé Brazil, Palo Puerto Rico. But in reality, they all come from Nigeria during the slave trade.
Okay.
So personal thing...
So it migrated
to
different...
In the diaspora.
Yeah, okay.
Right? So through the slave trade, these aspects of Ifa got dropped off in different places, and then they evolved after a couple hundred years.
Right.
So
people had their own interpretation,
right,
based on region.
So my colors, brown and green, are traditional Ifa. I am a Babalao. I'm initiated. Okay. I'm a priest in Ifa.
I know a little bit about this. My family's Cuban. So.
Okay, so I'm a Babalao tradicional.
Yep.
Been to Africa, and then really what I went there to do is to document.
Yeah.
I've been really lucky. My padrino is an Araba, which is like a pope.
Okay.
A lot of people think you have Babalao and then you have Oluo, but above Oluo you have Araba.
I actually thought the Babalao was the highest.
No, sir.
So I didn't know there was something higher than
there's
that.
two. Okay. There's 2 or 3 more.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Levels.
So now I just learned something.
And you can only get those levels when you're appointed by the king.
Because I felt like when people say, "Oh, he's a Babalao," it was like the ultimate.
That's like saying he's a priest. He's the pastor of the church.
Yeah.
But even the pastor has a boss somewhere.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
So
okay.
Yeah, and then I don't know.
So when you went to Brazil, it was all part of the same
documentary, and again, exploration, discovery. That's why I love filmmaking so much.
Brazil's a scary place too, man.
Yeah, Sao Paulo's no joke, bro.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Sao Paulo's no joke, bro.
That's another. So you had another guide there.
Yes, I did. Yeah. But my guide has been robbed 4 times in the past 5 years,
and he still does it.
Yeah, but now he's got guns.
Okay.
So now my guide is a guy with guns and knives, like by the front door, and he's tremendo guapo, He makes sure everybody sees,
So when you went there, you felt a lot safer.
Yeah, because I'm like, this motherfucker crazy.
Yeah.
Right. He's crazy enough. He shows you the knives. He shows you the guns. I guess.
Is there other people with him, or is this one solo?
So we were in a particular house of Ifa, which is pretty popular down there.
Okay.
And the reason why the people got robbed is because obviously the people in the neighborhood realized, oh, there's people with money coming to do
Americans.
Santo.
Yeah.
To do Santo here. They're paying money to do ceremonies, so let's rob the patrons. Go.
Yeah, that makes sense. One of my favorite movies is City of God, which was in Brazil.
In Brazil, yeah.
And I thought that movie. And like just to see the slums of how things operate over there, you realize like, bro, it's a whole, you think about like, yeah, you don't want to like disrespect, like you go say, oh, there's Liberty City, but then there's that.
Yeah, 100%.
That's a whole different type of hood. Like that's a different thing.
I grew up in Alapata my whole life.
Yeah.
I'm what I am now, but don't get it twisted. My whole life I grew up in the hood. I grew up in Alapata. That's just how we always roll down here, right?
Yeah.
Going to these places makes you say, man, I grew up in fucking Pinecrest.
Exactly, compared to what's going on over there.
Compared to where I was at.
Absolutely.